I'm Al Martinez, and welcome to Untrashed. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to bring some trash to life. And what I'd like you to do first is suspend your belief about what trash is. Okay, so things that get thrown away, things that are considered trash, things that people don't seem to have any more use for, or they're outdated. So we're going to do some things with a cardboard box, some shopping bag handles, a plastic milk bottle, and a few bottle caps, and a few miscellaneous other things. We're going to play this by ear. So the important thing today is for you to play. Okay, so I'm going to play with the materials that I just showed you. And you can do whatever you like if you see the kinds of things that I do. The thing that's the most important is to understand the properties of the materials that you're going to use. So when you look at something like this and you see that it's made of plastic and it's got certain shapes, okay, it kind of squishes and bounces. Same thing with this cardboard box. It's designed to hold things. It has a certain structural integrity. It's got 4 corners. The shopping bags are designed to carry things. So these handles are designed to have a bit of strength, and the way they've been folded, we're going to use those. I'm going to show you in a second. So the first thing we're going to do, I just want to give you an example of how to bring something to life that doesn't look like anything could be. So you see this container that is a plastic lettuce container. Okay, that could be a mouth. Okay, see this plastic thing that you get two for the price of one? That could be a pair of eyes. If you put it on here and then put some bottle caps in the center, you created sort of a face. And you could bring this thing to life. You could get it to talk. You can get it to look around. Okay, and that's what we're going to do. So I've had a bit of practice, so we're going to make something that I've got a couple of samples for. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get this box and we're going to cut the bottom off. So I use my utility knife. Now, if you watched the last series where I showed you how to make a book, the thing that I wanted you to look at in terms of materials is the properties of the materials. So this box has 4 corners. Now that I've cut the bottom off, it's quite flexible. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this corner here as the back of the mouth. Okay, so we're going to create, I'm going to do a dragon. I've got dragons on the brain. So I'm going to cut this, I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to cut one side loose. And cut this side loose. Okay, so here we have a mouth. So now we're going to shape this mouth. So when I look at dragons, I look kind of the shape of their head. So I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to draw what I think is a dragon's head on here. So I think the dragon's head is about this wide. So I'm going to cut that much off of this box. And I'll save that for later. So this, now proportionately, this is what I think a dragon's head looks like. This is the back of the jaws. This is going to be the nose. So if that's the center here, I think the nose is about that wide. And the jaw is this wide. So the jaw, so the dragon's head is going to be like this. So I'm only going to draw one side, and I'll show you why. So I've cut one side, and I'm going to use this as a template on the other side. So I'll put that there, mark that, and that makes it symmetrical. It doesn't have to be symmetrical, I just like things symmetrical. So I'll cut this side. And I'm going to save these pieces because these are going to be part of the dragon's head later. So I'll just put those there for now. Same thing with these. So if you look at that, to my mind's eye, it's already starting to look like a dragon. So this is the very nose. It's got a lower jaw. And we're going to put the eyes and we're going to start building the head. So I'm going to take these and I'm going to shape these as the nostrils. And the nostrils on a dragon are shaped a little bit like this. So I'm going to cut this one up. I'm going to use my kitchen shears. So that's one. I'm going to use that as a template. And cut the second one out. So the other thing that I think I've explained to you about cardboard, the way they make cardboard is, see these lines here? This adds to the structural integrity of the cardboard. So this cardboard doesn't bend this way, but it bends this way. And we're going to use that to our advantage. So I'm going to take these and sort of place them here. And you see how that curve is there? The cardboard will easily bend to that curve. So then I can get it to match that curve like that. Before I glue these on, I'm going to add another piece down the center to give the dragon's head a bit of dimension this way. Before I do that, I just remembered, we're going to add some things to hold your hand in place. And that's where the shopping bag handles come in. So get yourself 2 shopping bags and pull the handles off. So you have 4 handles. And what you're going to do is these little flaps here, we're going to cut them shorter. So we're going to cut them about that short. Okay. Now for this, you're only going to need 3. Okay, save these things because those are going to come in handy a little bit later. I'll show you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hand on here. And I'm going to trace around my fingers. And my thumb. So I'm going to know where to put these. So these are going to be glued down like this. So when I put my hand in here, my hand will easily stay so I can operate the mouth. So these things are designed for a certain width. The further you put these apart, the less space you have underneath it. The closer you put, the thicker you can put something in. So I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to glue one side down. Then I'm going to put my thumb in here, and I'm going to pull this out until the paper just touches my thumb, and that's where I'm going to glue that part down. I'm going to turn this over. I'm going to hang this off the edge of the table so I don't smash it, and it might pull the glue loose. So I'm going to put 2 of these, one for the tips of my fingers and one for the knuckles. So I'm using my fingers as a gauge, and I'm marking where the little tabs are going to be. I'm going to put a second one closer to the hinge of the jaw. And that one's going to be a bit closer because it needs to be to accommodate my knuckles. So getting this in place and marking where that might be. So I'm going to do one side first. Let's put this here. Now, because these handles are only designed to be a certain width, I'm going to put it closer together. So this is only going to take 3 fingers. Okay? And for me, that's okay, because on this hand, I only have 3 fingers. So put glue on that first. Put my fingers in here and glue this down so it's just touching my fingers. So while that's glue is setting, I'm going to put these spring clips on here. So I don't have to worry about pulling those loose. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece that goes across the top of the jaw and over these loops. So I've got another piece of cardboard here. This is part of the wine box. So I'm going to put this over the piece of cardboard, and that's the center. This is going to be that wide, which allows for the nostrils to be glued on the outside. And I want it to be about this wide at the back. So I'm going to put a center line. I'm going to cut one side first. I'm going to use this to mark the other side. It goes like this. Cut that. And the good thing about this piece of cardboard is the lines go this way, so this part is flexible. So this part at the nose, I'm going to bend it down here like this. And that's going to get glued here. Then as it goes up the head, it's going to dip in a little bit. And at the back, it's going to come down just a bit. So the first thing I'm going to do is glue this part down to the tip of the nose. Just put that like that. And I'm going to put a spring clip on here. Then I'm going to take the nostrils and I'm going to figure out where they go. So the nostrils are going to get glued, they're going to get glued right to the edge of this top jaw like that. Take this bulldog clip off. Glue this down like this. And then, because this part is still loose, I'm going to look at how much depth I want this way. So I'm going to do it about that much. And I can see right here where it touches this first chopping bag handle. I'm going to put some glue on there. I'm just going to let it rest there. So that's the beginning of the profile. These other two parts here, I'm going to use to give the dragon a bit more depth. So I'm going to put it in here like this, and I can see what it's doing like that. It's creating a brow here that makes the dragon look fierce. Okay, so dragons always have that brow with their eyes below here. So I'm going to put that in here like this. And I can see that I'm going to cut it off right there. That's this one. Mark the other one. So the other thing you can decide is you can decide whether you want to use the white or the cardboard color outside. Because this is a dragon, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the white to the outside, because the white shows up the shadow better. So I'm going to glue this in place. The other one in place. So there we have a bit of a brow, and this is where the eyes are going to go. So what you can use, there's a couple things you can do. You can draw them on with a marker, or you can use something that you've got already, like a bottle cap, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to show you, we're going to fast forward this. So that's what I've done on another piece here. So I'm going to put this one aside. And bring this one out. Oh, wait a minute, before I do that, because we have to do this sort of like magic. So now that we've got this, we're going to put the eyes in here like this, but we don't put the eyes in until we're ready for the creature to come alive. This is something that I learned in puppet making. As soon as you bring the creature alive, it comes to life because it can look around, can look at you, can look at where it's at, all that sort of stuff. So we're going to put the eyes in last. But the next thing we're going to do is we're going to give the dragon some teeth. So that's where this comes in. So looking at this bottle, I look at the properties of this bottle, the fact that it's white plastic, the fact that it's got a flat part here and a corner that comes down. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to use this part to make the teeth. So I'm going to cut this like this. We're going to use that in a minute. And I'm going to use this to get glued on the underside of that. And I'm going to use this part to make it into teeth. And you can draw this out beforehand. The only reason I'm not drawing it out beforehand is because this is the third time I've done it, so I think I know what I'm doing. Okay, save that. So these are the teeth. You can draw them on here, or you can just cut them out based on what you want the teeth to look like. And again, this is just playing with materials. Okay, this is just beginning to play with what you think might look okay. If it doesn't look okay, do something else. Okay, this is all about learning how to create magic from stuff that nobody else can see. And learning how to untrash. So as I said, this is about suspending your belief about what things look like. It's like if you ever see drawings from little kids who are just barely learning how to use their hands, and they draw a picture of mommy and daddy and the dog. You look at it and you say, wow, that's a pretty weird looking dog. But to them, that's the dog. Okay, so there we have the jaw. So I'm going to put some glue on here. And voila, you've got dragon with teeth. Okay, to make the bottom side, we're going to use another part of this, and we're going to use one corner here, which I've done already. So I've cut it like this, and I've cut these parts and I've glued them like that. So this part gets glued here. So that gives the dragon a bit more profile. Now I can bring out the other dragon. So this one, this one's got the teeth, it's got the nostrils. I put the eyes in so he's awake. He's got a chin. And now he can use some more decoration. You can add more stuff to the top to give him a bit more profile, the way dragons have spines on their head. And now we're going to give him a body. So what I did is I thought, what am I going to do with these? I've been looking at these for a long time, and I've been trying to figure out what can we do with these bread bags. So I decided that I was going to cut the bottom of one of these off. I need my good scissors. So the bag is big enough to fit over the back of the dragon. So that gets glued down to the back here. So you could stick your hand in here. And that's the dragon's neck. And how you decorate that, again, is up to you. You could glue paper scales on this. You could put fluff. You could put more of these that look like the dragon's got weird hair. You can do a lot of different things. So that's a couple of things you can do. Here's one that I did the other day. And this one, you can see that I've added some top elements to the top of the crown of the head. I've given it some spikes. And I put the bread bag on here so that my hand is completely covered. I haven't glued this on because I just glued it on this one. But anyway, you get the idea. So there you have the dragon. Hello, I'm glad to be alive. and I just need a claw. So we're going to make a claw from this part of the milk carton. I drew it like this. So that's one claw of the dragon. This part of the milk bottle fits perfectly in a toilet paper roll. So I glued the toilet paper roll on the end of the milk bottle, and I have these other small tubes that are tiny. These are from like office toilet paper, so they're much smaller. This metal part here is an old coat hanger. And I say old because you don't find these very often anymore. So this is the way they used to make coat hangers. They used to make these kind of wooden ones, but these are ideal for making these kind of things. I've used these a lot for making puppets. So what I did is I took the end of this, and I bent this down just enough to get squished in here. And I pulled this part, put another one in the center, and the very end, I glued another one of these into the end of the toilet paper, which I've shaped. And I've used this to wrap around that so it doesn't come undone. So this is the dragon's claw. So if you have the dragon's head on one hand, and you have the other hand like this, so the dragon can have actually, yeah. Okay, and that's basically bringing trash to life. So this is just the introduction of what you can do. Just have a play. It doesn't have to look like anything. It can be totally weird. You can create your own type of character, okay? It can be a trash character. And that's basically up to you. You know, whether you use one of these jars, you know, and the jar comes to life and talks, or this is the head, and you put a couple of eyes on it, and a couple little feet. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that it's up to you to create your own magic, and that comes from you. So I hope you do take advantage of the trash that you have. It costs nothing. You know, it costs just a bit of hot glue and the tools that you probably have around the house. And those are the kinds of things that allow you to play with the trash so we can untrash. Okay, thanks for watching. And remember, every little bit of untrashed helps.